This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the afternoon of Friday, May 23rd, 2025. I'm Alex Brown. The city of Indianapolis waved the green flag today on a new sister city partnership with Le Mans, France, a place that also has a vibrant racing history. Martin Beyer, president and CEO of the International Center, told Inside Indiana Business host Gary Dick that he sees the sister city relationship as an opportunity for economic development and development within the automotive industry.
Number one would be probably sports tourism. The race in Le Mans, and of course the Indy 500 is on the bucket list of every race fan around the world. But then also development in the automotive industry, where both cities can partner and working on concepts for the future. And then of course we might see some of the French automotive industry and racing industry settle here in Indianapolis.
You can see more from our interview with Beyer on this weekend's edition of Inside Indiana Business Television. Indiana is one of 3 states in the running for a $1 billion critical minerals processing and recovery plant being developed by Wisconsin-based Clarios, a manufacturer and recycler of low-voltage batteries. The company said this week that it has completed preliminary site assessments and is engaging the state of Indiana as well as Texas and Utah for potential investment. Clarios did not give any specific locations within Indiana that it is considering for the plant. However, the company currently operates a facility in Fort Wayne. Purdue University and Dallara will formalize their previously announced partnership to bring the university's motorsports engineering program to Speedway with a ribbon-cutting ceremony on Saturday. The Purdue program will be housed inside Dallara's U.S. headquarters on Speedway's Main Street, just 1 mile from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. From the #1 source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
To succeed, you need to stay informed. You need to be engaged. And let's face it, you need to set yourself apart from the rest by connecting with a company that brings you the best. Because in today's environment, business is an ever-moving target, and we'll help you chase it. IBJ Media. The best of business is in us. Get started at ibjmedia.com/youngprofessional.
The U.S. Supreme Court deadlocked 4-4 in a dispute over the blocking of a religious charter school in Oklahoma after Justice Amy Coney Barrett recused herself, possibly because of her connection to an advisor on the case. Here's Gary Dick.
Barrett didn't explain her recusal, but the Associated Press is reporting that she is good friends with Notre Dame law professor Nicole Garnett, who was an early advisor to the Catholic Church in Oklahoma that was trying to establish the charter school. Barrett was a law professor at Notre Dame from 2002 to 2017. The outcome keeps in place an Oklahoma court decision that invalidated a vote by a state charter school board to approve the St. Isidore of Seville Catholic Virtual School, which would have been the nation's first religious charter school. But it leaves the issue unresolved nationally. Several students from Notre Dame's law school have worked on the case since before the original lawsuit was filed. According to AP, the issue could eventually return to the High Court, with the prospect that all 9 justices could participate. The case asked the nation's High Court to consider whether a faith-based school should be allowed to operate as a virtual charter school in the state of Oklahoma. The Catholic Church in Oklahoma had wanted taxpayers to fund the online charter school, quote, faithful to the teachings of Jesus Christ. Opponents warned that allowing it would blur the separation between church and state, sap money from public schools, and possibly upend the rules governing charter schools in almost every state. The school was set to open for the 2024-25 school year, but in October of 2023, Oklahoma Attorney General Gentner Drummond, a Republican, sued the school board for approving the application, arguing it violated both the state and U.S. constitutions. Supreme Court justices heard oral arguments for the case on April 30th. This is Gary Dick for Inside Indiana Business Radio.
The ports of Indiana this week broke ground on a $10 million warehouse at the ports of Indiana Burns Harbor, the first such facility to be built at the Lake Michigan port in 25 years. The 84,000 square foot building, set for completion in early 2026, will expand the port's capacity for handling critical cargoes, according to CEO Jody Peacock. The new facility will add to the port's existing 640,000 square feet of warehouse space. The Port Authority has not yet named an operator for the new facility. Agricultural producers producers across the United States are expressing increased optimism despite ongoing concerns over the impact of tariffs on the ag industry. That's according to the latest Purdue University CME Group Ag Economy Barometer. Principal investigator Michael Langemeyer says 70% of respondents believe that the increased use of tariffs will strengthen the U.S. ag economy in the long run.
I was very surprised that it was 70%. And I think if you asked ag economists this same question, I think it would be flipped, that 70% or a large percentage would say it's going to weaken. One of the reasons that economists would say that is when you have trade disputes like we're currently having, you worry about your long-run market share. It's not only do we drop this market share temporarily, how do you get it back?
The barometer is calculated monthly from a telephone survey of 400 ag producers across the country. Mom Water co-founders Jill and Bryce Morrison are this week's guests on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, and entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Alex Brown for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.
Get ready for full throttle coverage as we shift into high gear for Business at the Brickyard, presented by LiUNA with support from the City of Westfield and Daniel's Family Vineyard and Winery. We're giving you the inside track on the powerful connection between motorsports and the Indiana economy. Join us at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for exclusive interviews, behind-the-scenes access, and the stories that drive the business of motorsports. So buckle up and join us for Emmy Award-winning Business at the Brickyard coverage all month long.